What is canon in Dune? That's what I want to discuss today. I want to talk about what is officially canon, what canon means to me, and how I apply the idea of canon to videos on the channel, particularly Dune in this case. So the official story as I know is Frank Herbert's books are the Dune canon, and also the Dune Encyclopedia initially. We get the following in the foreword of the Dune Encyclopedia from Frank Herbert, and I quote, "I must confess that I found it fascinating to re-enter here some of the sources on which the chronicles are built. As the first Dune fan, I give this encyclopedia my delighted approval, although I hold my own counsel on some of the issues still to be explored as the chronicles unfold." So Frank Herbert says here, in future books, if something within the encyclopedia would contravene his plans, then he would change things to fit his story, which makes sense. Later, the Dune Encyclopedia was officially decanonized by the Frank Herbert estate, and the works of his son, in partnership with Kevin J. Anderson, replaced that as the official canon, alongside Frank Herbert's books, obviously, as well. Now, what is canon to me? With Frank and Brian Herbert's books and the Dune Encyclopedia, I think a lot of it can be fitted together, sometimes better than others. Some things the Dune Encyclopedia covers are not covered in Brian Herbert's books, so that can still apply. And the universe of Dune and the timeline is long enough, I think. There's so much space for both the Dune Encyclopedia and Brian Herbert's takes on the same thing in most cases. As an example, the origin of the Bene Gesserit in Brian Herbert's works are official, but I might also cover on the channel the Dune Encyclopedia's origin parts for the Bene Gesserit separately. Another example is the Fremen. In the Dune Encyclopedia, there are various water ceremonies and other interesting insights that are not really in the works of Brian or Frank Herbert. But think of all the Fremen on Arrakis in their many sutures. They might not all have the same ceremonies. In some ways, some might be unique, just like the Greek city-states in our world were similar, but also very different. Think of someone like Sparta and someone like Athens. In other words, I try to put all the pieces together, and honestly, some of my favourite videos are those where I can combine all three sources for more depth and detail and flavour. And this is how I apply canon to my videos. Though I do have to admit, I do have a little bias towards the Dune Encyclopedia. I do love that book. It's so much fun to read, the attempts to explain the different things in Frank Herbert's world. And at the start of my videos, I always try to note the sources of what's put into the video at the start, or for example where a direct quote comes from. So I have my headcanon, and you can have yours, based on what works for you. So let me know what you think of the canon of Dune, and what is officially your version of it.